Hi, this is Magnar, and welcome to episode 2 in Magnar Plays Magnar Mod. The last episode we kind of took it to the Etruscans, and now we're attacking the Luthri. This army I've got here is filled with skirmishers, so a nice dry day should do quite well. Attacking a city, I'm not going to be using the traditional triple axis formation because it's just going to be 3 bottlenecks for this city. I'm sure you're all aware of the bottlenecks for this particular town. So I'm going to just use a formation or split my forces in a way where I think I can break the enemy the quickest. So over here you have the position where the missile units, if I can engage the Etruscans here, and I can move my javelin, my skirmishers, my levies over here, I can fire on the back of them and cause some significant damage. So I think I'm going to use the majority of my skirmishers over on the left to really break through, and I'll probably use some of the elite troops over there as well rather than the hastati, just so I can kill quicker and break through there. I think that'll be the best place to break through in this town. The hastati I'm going to chuck over here, a couple of them anyway, and maybe one principe, because this seems to be a nice open way I can throw javelins maybe over those buildings and be able to do some damage there. And here with the taller buildings on the side, I can put some more another principe and another couple of hastati there, but that'll be harder to break through there, I think. So let's just set that up, and I'll put one levies unit for each. Also, I'll talk a bit about our current battle mechanics that we've got in place, and the kind of the reasoning why we've gone with that kind of a system. It's still very much being tested out, so it's not perfect by any means. But we hope this is the theory, the idea behind how we've done it is kind of what we're aiming for, and what we'll try to do if we're in any further changes to the battle mechanics. Okay, let's get the general over on the left flank as well. He can help push the breakthrough point. Now the kill rates in Magnar Mod are significantly lower than vanilla. Not lower than a number of other mods, I think, but lower than vanilla. And there's been significant fatigue and morale changes. Now let's firstly just check out the units, what we've done here. So here we have principes, and you'll notice that the principes actually have spears and not javelins, not pylons, spears and no swords. Historically they would have had swords or sidearms, but with the animations it's a bit hard to give them, they can't really fight with the sidearm, and they can't even assign a sidearm statistic to the weapons in Rome 2, so they've just got the one weapon. The levies here are the very poor units, don't even have a shield, and they've just got a few javelins they can throw. You'll notice that there's no red in the army here as well. The army is all in natural cloth colours. I've done a little bit of research on and there's a theory that the red colouring came a bit later on. It's all theories when it comes to Roman tunic colours. So yeah, you could have red in there if you want. If you subscribe to that theory, or it's up to you really. There's a few books on different tunic colours that the Romans wore, so if you're interested in that, go check them out. These are the hastati over here. They have a pylon, and if I put them into melee mode, they have their sword. That's what you kind of expect from the hastati, and probably what most people expect from the principes. If we come over here, we can check out our triarii. Triarii are a bit more Greek in fashion. Also with the types of helmets that they wear, it's also more Greek. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory, I think. Also, clicking on these Roman units, you'll see that there's no testudo and not so many formations. That's deliberate. In later reforms for the Romans, those formations will come for the later units. And that's because Rome didn't really get good at siege warfare until after the war, or during the wars with Carthage, where it really learnt how to besiege cities. So all those kind of siege-related formations, like testudo, they come a bit later with the later units. I think it was like Second Punic War where they started getting quite proficient. Also, these units will be changed quite a bit in the next major release. We're working on a complete Roman overhaul or rework, if you will, because there's a lot of inaccuracy still with these units. Well, not a lot, but there's some inaccuracy still that we want to improve, so we'll be doing that with the next release. Because we want to make everything here as accurate as possible, and if we get new information, then we are quite happy to change our units according to that information. And that's enough about me talking about the units. Let's get into battle and kill some Etruscans. Okay. Now with my levies here, I'm not going to want to have them on fire at will, because this is being a bottlenecked kind of situation where it could be a little bit drawn out. I don't want to use all the ammunition in the first couple minutes. I kind of want to have enough animation. Animation. I want to have enough ammunition throughout the battle to constantly take advantage of when the enemy's about to break. The system we've got here is very much morale dependent. Units will rout with not so many losses. It's more dependent on morale and morale shocks. So attacking in the rear, attacking in the flanks has a much more significant impact. Also, killing a general or having the general run away or suffering losses has much greater impact on morale than in vanilla, or probably to other mods that you might be used to, depending on the mods. So it's all about tactics, this this battle mechanics. It's about getting the edge over your opponent through cavalry charges, missiles, and also about holding the line. But it's not all about just how many people you can kill. That's only one part of the system. And if you can kill a lot of people in a front-on attack, well, you know, you might not win because they might be coming around your flank. And it won't be too uncommon to have to lose a battle with only like 30% losses. Maybe not in a city battle, because if they retreat, they have to run through the attackers, which means they're going to get killed when they're running away. So that's the exception. That's where a lot of the deaths occur. Okay, let's get the Principes into here. We've also redone fatigue quite a bit, and the effects of fatigue. Fatigue has a bigger impact on combat, so you will want to be rotating your troops. You can see here now that I'm actually sending the Principes in first, and you might be thinking, well, if he wants to fight historically, why is he sending in the Principes in front of the Hastati? Shouldn't the Hastati be going in first? Because that's what I think it's Polybius describes it as such. But I read yesterday actually that I think it was Terentius, it's a Roman playwright from about the early 2nd century BC, who mentioned that before his time, that the Romans actually sent the Principes in first and the Hastati in second. Oh wow, this is terrible. What have they done here? This is... Okay, I'm going to take advantage of this for sure. Very, very odd. They've put up a terrible defense. I thought I'd have to use some strategy, but actually I can just pin them all in there and kill them pretty quickly. Typical AI, I guess. By the way, you can't mod the AI, you can only mod the AI priorities. But the actual behavior of the AI is hard-coded, so don't blame me for the AI grouping up and allowing itself to get boxed in there. Yeah, so later on we know that the Hastati lined up first, and then the Principes, then Triarii, but yeah, Terentius seems to suggest that the Principes get their name from, or infers that they get their name for being the first ones, Principe meaning the first, principal for English, I guess. They were the first ones into combat. And Hastati have their name from, of course, from the hasta, the spear that they wielded. Well, in this mod, and also in the this Republican era, the Hastati actually didn't have the hasta anymore. They used pilums and swords, as did the Principes later on. So the name kind of just sticks. But the well, this is over really quickly. That's a shame, really. I was hoping for a nice slog, but it's not to be. I guess I can use my skirmishes now, because this battle isn't going to last long. I may as well get some use out of the missiles. Let's go check it out. You can see here the Etruscans. They've got custom tunic patterns and custom shield patterns, which we've taken from various Italian pieces of art. It's the same for all the Roman socii units, and the types of tunics where we've created a, thanks to I think KLA did it, and we did about I think 16 different tunic styles, and they were then split up based on what was traditional in the specific areas. So the Etruscan tunic styles will be different to the say Apulian Socia units, which will also be different to say the Campanian Socia units. Yeah, we like to be as accurate as possible and put as much emphasis onto the details as we can. These shields for the Etruscans are also from, well, you can see they're all very round, but they're using a scutum. That's because pretty much all the patterns that we get are actually from round shields, but we've kind of adapted them to a scutum style shield. But they are from artworks from Etruscan and other Italian tribes. Let's check on the fatigue, make sure they're not wearing themselves out too much. Oh, like they have? Okay, let's get them out of there. Move the Hastati up. Let them use their ammo as well, the remaining ammo. We may have to wait until we have a war with another faction to be able to get a decent sized battle happening. Okay, now they've all run away. You can see that when they've run away, they've got not so many kills. You've got 204 left out of 240, 213 out of 240. That one lost almost 50%. 180. Yeah, so they're running with because they know that they've lost. Historically, armies would rout, and if they would have 6 to 10% casualties, that would be considered a significant loss. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. Now let's go and kill the other army that's hanging around in the region as well. And yeah, hopefully we can get a bit longer battle and they don't do stupid stuff like just going into one little corridor. Okay, well we kind of knew we were going to win that battle quite easily. I was hoping it wouldn't be as easy as it actually was, but nothing I can do about that now. Let's upgrade this general. No, sorry, it's the army. This is going to be a attacking army. This will be our main offensive army, and so I want to have something with maybe movement, if possible. There we go. Also, yeah, the movement in this mod, I mean, I know it's now in vanilla, that cavalry and infantry move at different speeds. We have it that cavalry, infantry and artillery all move at different speeds, and also a little slower than in vanilla. We've had our system in for quite some time now. Yeah, I think it only makes sense that the artillery go slower, but the cavalry aren't so much quicker than the infantry because they still have to wait for their supply wagons. They can maybe ride ahead a little bit faster, but or ride from town to town quicker, and therefore maybe leave the supply wagons to catch up. But over the long haul, if your army doesn't have a supply wagon, then you're not really going to be getting that far. So you're only as fast as your slowest component. Okay, we got another one here as well. That's good. Again, we're attacking, so something to do with, okay, we're doing offensive battles maybe. Missile units. I like damage. Let's do that. Okay. Can't build anything. That's pretty obvious. Only 200 bucks. Denarii. And are they doing anything with their navy? I don't think so. Okay, well, and turn there and can take the fight. Oh yeah, there's always something. I'm glad they got these warnings that pop up. Otherwise, I just forget. Food increases growth, and because of the extra turns per year in this mod, the growth required for each extra slot is also increased. So you don't have all your settlements at maxed slots within 10 turns or 10 years. That's just kind of to spread it out a bit more. So we do want that food. That food will actually be important now. Whereas if we didn't increase the amount of food amount of growth required per region, then you really wouldn't care about growth because you'd have it within 10 years anyway. But money is also good. Auxiliary. We're also planning a overhaul of these edicts. I'll release more on that once we start doing the planning, but for now, yeah, just know that these will be completely different with the next major update. And the turn and kill that other army if it doesn't want to go back to its last remaining outpost. I'm guessing it will try to stick around and do some raiding, unfortunately. But if it goes back to Corsica, then we can maybe fight all their remaining armies in their last city and have a nice battle. Yeah, so that battle wasn't really great for showcasing the battle mechanics that we've done. You can't really see it until you see a big battle. We're aiming for a battle length of a open field battle of around 15 minutes from full stacks. So it will continue to be tweaked until we get the sweet spot. Okay, finished our research, which means we can build our auxiliary barracks. And in this mod, the speed of gaining experience is significantly slowed, which means that champions and the effects from having experience are increased. So actually getting champions is going to be much more beneficial because it'll take longer to get to that maximum experience level, and when they do, they're going to be significantly better. So I want to be able to get those champions quickly to start boosting the XP in this army here. I seem to be okay for cash, so I don't have to worry about that just yet. I mean, more's always better. Speaking of which, let's see if Athens feels like doing something with me now. Ooh, they're going into Epirus. Taking it to Epirus.
And if it profits my people, agreement too. My people are wealthy and intimate.
Okay, so now we've got non-aggression. They should be open to trade, and they're not. Forget it. Maybe next turn. A Dalmate.
A flapping tongue that speaks without wisdom is not welcome. I do not.
Okay, one more, and then if they don't do it, then I'll just carry on.
Now speak plainly.
Maybe I'll give a trade agreement to the Dalmate and then see if they'll trade.
The gods
Sorry,
will
non-aggression
listen
pact.
to you, but do not
Nope.
pass
Okay,
the
forget
bill.
it. Forget it.
It is an honor to serve Rome.
These guys may as well be patrolling. I know it doesn't give much income, but it's better than nothing.
Set up the patrols. Ready for battle.
Okay, they're going to stay there and fortify. Okay, let's go kill these guys and then
We cannot follow this order.
finish up.
Advance.
Again, a very easy battle, but yeah, what can we do? You'll notice also that the unit cards here for Rome have not actually been customized yet. They will be, but not yet. So the Principes, although they have spears in the unit card, it still shows swords. Again, we have a missile advantage in this battle, so I don't want to have rain or fog or whatever else. I want to have dry weather like that. Okay, so now because we've got the chameleon roster, let's do the triple axis with Principes in the front, based on what I read yesterday. And the Hastati in the rear. I guess it also makes sense to have when the Hastati have javelins, pylons, and the Principes don't. I guess it makes sense to have the Hastati in the rear because then they can open fire on the enemy once they're already engaged with the Principes. Okay. Want to have it extra on the right flank because that'll be swinging down the hill, getting the advantage. Lastly, those Triari, get them on there as well. And the levies, I'm going to put mostly on the flanks because having them fire at the front, yeah, it does a little bit to the enemy. It kind of breaks them up a little bit, but it doesn't really do any significant damage because they're going to be hitting the shields mostly. So if I have them on the flanks, if I can get them on the flanks, then I can maybe kind of come around their side and do some real damage to them. I'll keep one in the front, nice and spread out, just to slow them down when they're charging in. But that's, or if they have skirmishers that want to kind of hold off, I'll just keep them there. Okay, put them into a group, and away we go. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get there in time. Oh yeah, they're stopping. That's alright then. I don't think they're going to want to stop there for too long. I've got this massive advantage coming over the hill here I might have to take advantage of. There is, of course, a bonus to being on a hill versus not on a hill. Also, other things we've changed is that armor is more important when being shot with missiles. So if you've got really heavy armor and you're being pelted with missiles, you'll survive longer in this mod than you would in vanilla. I mean, that's what the Parthian cataphracts were. That's why they were so heavily armored. It was all about defending against missiles. Really, that was the point. It wasn't about melee. It was about missiles. So, if armor was not effective against missiles so much, then they probably wouldn't have gone with that. Let's have a look at the Etruscan army, how they're set up. Okay, what have they got here? They got some... You can see that all the names are actually in the native language, and the description of each unit has the English name in it. Obviously you can't see the description of the enemy units, but you can kind of figure out what they are by looking at them. This is my poor attempt at giving Etruscans the native Etruscan language names. I'm not a linguist by any stretch of the imagination, so apologies if they are completely inaccurate. Feel free to correct me on my Etruscan. If you happen to be an expert on Etruscan, I'm happy to change the names accordingly. Here you can see some. I'm not sure. I haven't tested all the experience bonuses yet, but you can see that one level of experience for the Principes gives them 5 melee attack. I think in vanilla it would give them around 3 or so. Oh, I'm getting smashed here. Okay, let's... I don't know if I'm going to get in position. Let's get them on the flanks. Oh, they just got there in time, but okay, I'll get the Hastati over here on the flank to fire, and the Principes to come down, create a new flank against the a new front to protect against the cavalry. In fact, I just charged them straight in there. Get these levies coming in from behind. Okay, let's check out some of the combat. Get these Hastati to take out the enemy general. I know it's a bit dodgy. We have actually changed the effect of the general dying. Are they running already? Yeah, they got smashed by missiles, so they're kind of, and they're being flanked attacked in the rear as well. Yeah, and they lost a lot of men. And that causes them to run pretty quickly, especially because of all the missile fire. The missiles do significant damage if on the flank, and so they run pretty quickly. The other guys are sticking around. I can maybe leave them and see how they go with melee. Melee, you see, it's much slower. But yeah, I think it's to be expected that when you have an army which doubles the enemy, that they charge you front on uphill, that they won't last very long. But yeah, you see the losses there at about a bit more than a third. The melee the kills that the AI has done is mostly from melee because they only had one. They're at a severe disadvantage with the number of missile units they had. So they kind of got smashed pretty quickly, but their melee kills were only around 90, so shows you in that period of time. To enslave or not to enslave? If I kill them, it doesn't really matter, but I don't think, because they're the only other Latin culture, and I think killing prisoners only affects the culture, the other factions of the same culture. Yeah, I just killed them.
You have further orders? At once. We hunger for battle.
And then jump in
I want our
to Valathri and, yeah, get a positive public order. I never really pay much attention to what each one of these leads to, so I think I picked the wrong ones, unfortunately. But melee defense is good. Night battles. Night battles are more effective in this game. So if you're in this mod, if your men are prepared for night battles and the enemy isn't, I think the effect is about double that of vanilla. So it's always very good. Now I'm gonna have to pick a different line. Morale, map movement, morale. I'll go with this one, proven leader. And I will also build I want to get access to the equites. So the equites are built from this chain here, the green chain, the farming, because horses need land, so you need to have the farms before you can recruit the equite units, the Roman citizen cavalry. So that's what I'm going to look at doing next. And yeah, probably finish off the Etruscans. We'll get to one last battle and then I'll end this episode. I've never actually finished a campaign with Rome 2. I always find something I want to mod, and then after I've modded it, I want to start it again. But with this one, I'll be looking to tweak the game that I'm playing as I want it, as I play, and continue the same campaign to victory, hopefully. Okay, let's send the spy over here. And kill these guys. I'm just going to automate that because the last battle was kind of too easy and kind of quick. Took longer to load it up than it did to fight it. Almost. I was really hoping they'd run away to their to Alalia.
march. At your command. Embarking.
I think I was meant to build something down here. Oh no, it's still building. Good. And I don't think that'll be rebelling. I think I can stop it from rebelling before the time comes, hopefully. I think we might have a naval battle coming up. I just saw their ships move over here, so I know it's probably only one. It's probably only one ship, but I can kind of show you the some of the changes we've done to naval movements, if I can reach them. That is.
Yes.
Jump out of that stance, and I can't reach them. Okay, forget that.
Fleet reporting. Sound the drums.
And I'll move these guys in behind and come through the back, attack the city, while the fleet here attacks the front. May actually grab one more. Nah, forget it. Okay, so if I hover over here, you can see that it unlocks the recruitment of equites, as to this, and pretty much all of them. Doesn't matter, as long as you have the land, you can have the horses. Even if you want to have, depending on what, regardless of what crop you want, or if you want to raise animals. Again, I'll just end the turn quickly. I want to get to that last battle against the Etruscans. Okay, it looks like a naval battle. Okay, that's good. You can see here they've got pretty much all transport ships. And because we've nerfed transport ships in this mod, they don't really have a chance. This is in no way a depiction of how the battle will go. Oh, it rarely is when you fight it yourself, I guess. Transport ships generally have 2 ships per unit, so that if we don't do that, then the units would get trapped under the water, and it can cause a number of issues, such as not being able to kill the remaining men if the unit hasn't routed once all the visible men have been killed. So to avoid that, we've made it 2 ships per unit. That has its own downside, which is that you may not have enough room to land all your ships. But I guess it's the lesser of 2 evils. You can see that the non-transport ships all have 1. This actually makes them even better because they're much more maneuverable.
We must make them proud that we are their defenders. More than that, our Roman gods are watching.
You can see here that the general actually only has, the cavalry unit has only 1 ship though. The one here with more men, I think the max number of men you can have on these kind of transports is about 160 or something near that. So that is why they have 2 ships, to make sure that they can fit them all on, and the smaller ones, which have less than 160, only get 1. The damage done by all ships, as well as the ship mass, has been completely redone based on all the information I could gather for estimated weights of the different ships. So these transport ships, you can see they're really slow and they turn really slowly here. You can see it. Terrible for combat. They maneuver really badly. So you don't really want to be going to combat with them. Also, combat ships cannot fire missiles. Okay, 2 and they're dead. Okay. They have their own, transport ships have their own damage model where they will do significantly less damage to all ships when ramming. They can't fire missiles even if they have slingers or archers. I mean, they would be fairly cramped on a transport ship, so you wouldn't really have much room to be hurling around a sling. You need a bit of space to be able to do that. Same with firing a bow. It's hard to fire a bow in a fairly cramped space, so that is not possible for transport ships, and kind of stops. It also helps balance it out because the naval ships have half as many men on average as the transport ships would generally have. It means that if they have slingers or archers, they can't really just destroy you based on the number of casualties they do. Come on.
Romans ready for duty. Ready, willing, and able.
The damage models for the smaller ships versus larger ships in the naval, actual naval ships, has also been reworked significantly so that the larger ships can take, if you have a tiny ship like a Hemiolia versus say a hexareme, with that being 8 rows
One of our ships is being boarded.
of rowers, then the Hemiolia will need about 40 hits, 20 to 40 hits on that larger ship, because you know the mass differential and the actual damage they do would be significantly lower to what the hull could take. So it's much more varied than what you get in vanilla. These lighter ships are much lighter, and the heavier ships are much heavier. I think vanilla you have the mass of different ships, the difference being about 80 tons difference, and we've got a difference in the mass of all our ships of about 420 tons, because yes, hexaremes were significantly heavier than Hemiolia, which are like 1 row of rowers or 1.5 row of rowers versus 8 and much significantly larger ships. Okay. Yeah, so as you can see, transports suck at naval combat, and that's the way it should be, really. I mean, the ships they used weren't designed for ramming and fighting and boarding. They were designed for taking men and supplies from point A to point B, and they would usually have had a escort of actual naval ships. Sure, if they board you, then they can kill you, but yeah, just don't let that happen, and you'll be fine. I can release them, they'll be dead soon anyway, so it doesn't matter. The current kill rate in the current release version of Magnar Mod is actually about 50%. That's about 2/3 of what I actually increased the kill rate in this version that I'm playing here, just to test it out for future release. If you prefer the old system, let me know, and if you like the speed of killing that you see in this version of the mod, also let me know. It can maybe sway my final decision of what I plan to do. And if you have a better suggestion for what to call this army here, I don't really want to call it Jamina. I'd rather call it something else, so feel free to make suggestions on what to call it. Okay, move that army up.
How can I be of in Rome's service? I never tire.
I don't even need to sabotage that. It's not really going to be much of a fight there.
Ready for battle.
Not enough cash to do anything anyway. Okay, let's one more turn. I'll finish off the Etruscans, probably with an auto battle, because they haven't got any men there now, unless they somehow recruit a bunch of mercenaries, in which case I'll probably fight it. Okay. Oh, I picked the wrong one, didn't I? Oh, but ammo is good for ships. Yeah, I get that. Turn again. I'm going to probably try to, once I kill the Etruscans off, which should be imminently, I'll probably try grab the north of Italy.
Will you agree to
Hey, trade
We have
with Athens,
rights your
sure.
people might enjoy, and
Try hit the north of Italy and then look to move south against the Carthaginians. I think that will give me enough of a base to take it to them. And who doesn't like a Punic war every now and then?
Ready for orders.
The plague-ridden army
Hunger for battle.
has gone up a level. Recruitment costs. I like that bonus experience. That's good to have. Means that each unit's probably around 10% better than when recruited. Now this season is autumn, so I don't want to be attacking next season, so I'm going to kind of hang about at the shoreline. I don't really want to fight them, but I'm going to move in and block these guys off so they can't get out and use their navy to attack my army.
What do you wish of me?
And now we have some money to actually build something, I think, as well. +5 wealth from all sources. Don't mind if I do. Oh no. I need to get that auxiliary camp. How much is that? 3 grand. Okay, next turn. Okay, this should be a bit more interesting because they've got 4 naval ships. I have 4 naval ships, and they have their 4 transports. Well, that should be 2 transports, 2, 6. So they got 11 ships against my 4. I'll fight it just to fight it, but I expect I'll lose this one actually. They have better naval ships than I have. But I could probably take out all their transports because they're coming in first.
General! To the oars!
You'll also notice changes to acceleration and deceleration as well with all the ships. Well, you might not notice until I ask you to look at it, but there are changes there where the smaller ships should have more acceleration and deceleration, more acceleration, less deceleration than the larger ships. Actually, I'm not sure about the deceleration. I have to check that again. But the top speed, as you can see here, for the larger ships is actually higher because they have a higher concentration of rowers, which means that they could generally, up to a certain point of course, they could actually go faster than the smaller ships. The smaller ships are more used for their maneuverability as opposed to their actual top line speed. Okay, there's 2 transports gone.
Our general is under attack.
Oh, I've lost one because of their other ships firing on me.
Weapons ready. Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shame.
Yeah, as expected, when they have their warships as well, then it's not so easy to beat them.
Moving out.
And I've pretty much lost, especially once these skirmisher hemiolia come to play.
Rome is mother to us all. Row, curse you, row. Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display. Glory for Rome! Attack! Attack!
Yeah, see, this ship is much larger than the Hemiolia, so it's actually able to take a number of hits here against them. But is ultimately doomed because naval combat is bugged and I cannot move my ship now.
Give way! Move out! Moving out! One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Okay, time to board. That's just ridiculous. Ships would not break in half that easily. But it's more about how quickly they sink. So yeah, it takes the larger ships against the smaller ones take significantly longer to sink with ramming, but they can still be sunk. That one took about, I think, 3 ships. Took them about maybe 9 to 10 rams on it. However, I probably only needed 2. Well, for some reason it bugged out and would only let me get 1 in to sink one of theirs. And with that, I will end this episode, and I think I'll crush the Etruscans in the very beginning of the next episode, and then look to consolidate, fill out my armies, and move against the Gauls in the north in the next episode, or maybe even the Greeks. I kind of want to go towards the areas which we've already overhauled, such as Carthage, Greeks, Iberia. Oh, sorry, not Greeks. Carthage, Gaul, Iberia, those kind of areas. Yeah, you died. Hoo-hoo. Alright, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.